The most important things are the hardest things to say. They're the things you get ashamed of because words diminish them. Words shrink things that seemed limitless when they were in your head to no more than living size when they're brought out. But it's more than that, isn't it? The most important things lie too close to wherever your secret heart is buried, like landmarks to a treasure that your enemies would love to steal away. And you make revelations that cost you dearly, only to have people look at you in a funny way, not understanding what you've said at all, or why you thought it was so important that you almost cried while you were saying it. And that's the worst part, I think, when the secret stays locked inside, not for want of a teller, but for want of an understanding ear. That's a passage from the opening paragraph of an amazing short story called The Body by Stephen King. Yesterday I had one of those moments, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when I begin to tell you about it, it probably won't be very special or moving to you, but it will be a moment that will live in my heart for the rest of my life. And it'll live long after my mind releases it. I'll be an old man dying somewhere, and this will die with me if I don't give it to you, whether you understand it or not. My daughter is 10 years old. She's been learning martial arts from me and my wife, her mom, since she was 3. In the last few months, she's been really focusing herself on becoming this great martial artist. She says she wants to be a warrior. And that's not something we asked her to do. It's just something she decided she wants for herself. Of course, she sees the example of her mother and I, and that helps, of course. You know, we live a pretty healthy lifestyle. We train every day. But we only ask the kids to train twice a week. We don't want them to burn out. We just want them to have a real self-defense skill set by the time they hit high school and by the time they start dating. You don't have to become a black belt. You just can't become a quitter. Logan, my daughter, had a really hard practice yesterday. I teach the kids classes. Now, I could hire somebody else to do this, and most instructors do, and I have in the past. But for quite a while, I've been putting my heart and my soul into that class. 7 to 11-year-old kids. It's the class that I love the most. It's not even close. We put on our uniforms, and we listen, and we practice, and we drill, and we laugh a lot, a whole lot. And I train with them during this class. I spar with the kids. It's not a typical kids class. It's very hard, especially on Thursdays. Thursdays are for warriors. That's what I tell the children. On Thursdays, we show up and we work as hard as we can. And I structure the class so that even if you don't want to be a warrior, on Thursday, you have no choice but to find your inner warrior, especially if you're an 8-year-old kid. And the adults sit on the sidelines waiting for their class to begin. And I know they're wondering, is this about to happen to us? Brandon's crazy. 40 beginner adults on the sideline watching and waiting for the hammer to drop. We sparred for 45 minutes with the kids yesterday. I don't expect competence. I don't expect them to win. But I do expect them to find out that greatness lives inside of them, even though they may not realize that truth for many, many years. Maybe they grow up and move away from martial arts. They probably will. Of course they will, right? But if they stay with me, they will know something about themselves, probably subconsciously, but they will know. Practice starts to get hard. No air conditioning. The Alabama summer heat is pressing down on us. The humidity is thick on the air, and sometimes you can feel the water in the air when you breathe. It can be like torture. Sweat begins to pour, not drip, pour onto the mats. We need water, coach. Make it quick. The next round starts in 30 seconds. Logan is normally the hammer. Today she is the nail. She's a 10-year-old girl, but she's experienced and a bit overconfident. And today she finds herself repeatedly on the bottom position, struggling to deal with larger, older opponents. Almost all of them bigger, stronger, older boys. And almost all of them white belts who don't know how to play jiu-jitsu. They just know, I cannot let this little girl beat me while my daddy is watching. After a few rounds of being the nail, the tears start to form. And then they start to pour. And everything inside of me wants to save her. Everything. I can save her. I can stop this. I want to snatch this boy up by his neck. Don't you know that's my little girl? She's my world. But I also know from experience that she's not in danger of being injured. Uncomfortable is not the same thing as hurt. But her heart is balancing on the edge. She wants to quit. Her emotions start to take over. Calm down, Logan. Survive. Tears. Survive. Just survive. You don't have to win. Just find a way to survive. Tears. Tears flowing steadily now. But she doesn't quit. And I don't save her. I want to. Everything about me wants to. The round ends. She comes to me. Tears. We turn away from the audience. They're watching. I can feel them. She can feel them. We kneel and we face one another. I touch her cheek with my hand, softly. Daddy, don't ever let me quit. I want to be a warrior. But I know in my heart I can never stop her from quitting. Something begins to build inside me and I become the nail. My tears start to form. I can't stop her from quitting, and I know it. No one can stop her. Quitting is something that is burned away. It's an impurity that can only be purged through the trial by fire. Most never have the privilege of discovering this truth. They don't even take the test. But this 10-year-old girl looks inside of herself. And she finds the truth that most grown men can never see. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Daddy, don't ever let me quit. But I would have let her. I would have let her walk away. You, today, you have the opportunity to quit. The pain's too much. Your marriage is failing. Your job's unbearable. The stress of having no money, it's too much to bear. And you can feel the audience watching. You can feel their judgment as they look to see what you will do. What are you going to do next? How are you going to react? The tears start to form. Some days you are the hammer. Today you're the nail. Tears. You can quit. The easiest thing in the world would be to quit. It's right there. Ring the bell and everything goes away. It all stops. No one would be mad at you. We would all understand. You're crying after all. You're only human. But this is your most powerful tool. The trial by fire. Your fire looks different than Logan's. But it is the same. My fire looks different than yours. But it is the same. Don't ever let me quit. But nobody can stop you from quitting. No one. No one can stop you from quitting. You can quit right now. This is your test. And you will very simply pass or fail. There are no passing grades. There's no C+. There's no almost. There's no that was pretty good. There's pass and there is fail. There is warrior and there is not warrior. These are the two outcomes. My daughter is 10 years old, and she is my teacher. The most important things are the hardest things to say. They're the things you get ashamed of because words diminish them. Words shrink things that seemed limitless when they were in your head to no more than living size when they're brought out. But it's more than that, isn't it? The most important things lie too close to wherever your secret heart is buried, like landmarks to a treasure your enemies would love to steal away. And you may make revelations that cost you dearly, only to have people look at you in a funny way, not understanding what you said at all, or why you thought it was so important that you almost cried while you were saying it. BMAX Audio Adventure, BJJ365.